Without realizing it, your brain is constantly protecting a version of you that no longer exists. Because the human mind forms identity from past experiences and then fights to keep that identity intact, even when growth demands change. And this is why people often feel threatened by feedback, opportunity, or truth, as the brain interprets identity disruption as danger. And psychologically, the brain prefers emotional consistency over emotional accuracy, meaning it will recreate familiar feelings again and again, whether those feelings are joy or pain, simply because they are known. And emotionally, the brain encodes early experiences as emotional rules rather than memories, teaching you what love, safety, and worth feel like, which later guides adult relationships unconsciously, while at the same time the brain is extremely sensitive to perceived unfairness, reacting more strongly to injustice than to personal loss, because fairness once maintained group survival. And another unsettling fact is that the brain confuses intensity with connection, making dramatic relationships feel deeper than stable ones, even though stability is what actually regulates the nervous system. And psychologically, the brain is addicted to explanation, not truth, meaning it will create stories to justify feelings rather than investigate their origin, which is why people rationalize emotional decisions as logical ones. And socially, humans are wired to read microsignals, tiny changes in tone, posture, or response time, interpreting them as acceptance or rejection within milliseconds, often incorrectly. And neurologically, the brain experiences emotional suppression as stress, not control, because unexpressed emotions remain active in the nervous system, draining energy silently, while expressed emotions lose intensity. And another deep psychological truth is that the brain cannot distinguish between self-identity and self-behavior under pressure, meaning who you become during stress feels more real than who you are at rest. And this is why repeated stress shapes personality. And emotionally, people are more afraid of being misunderstood than being disliked, because misunderstanding threatens identity, while dislike threatens preference. And perhaps the most powerful psychology fact is that the brain does not heal through insight alone, but through repeated corrective experiences, moments where old expectations are violated by new outcomes, slowly teaching the nervous system that the world can be different. And in the end, real change happens, not when you think differently once, but when you experience safety while choosing differently again and again, until the brain finally updates its definition of who you are.